Hi, this is Adi Budaraju from Mr. Conlon's Period 4 Java class, and this is the game eOmetry. eOmetry is targeted at kids who are currently enrolled in geometry classes and want to practice their geometric constructions. The goal of this game is to not only provide interactive examples for kids to practice, it's also to help kids study for tests by going through many different examples, 81 different possibilities of configurations for users. The game is played by the user completing 4 different levels after making an account. Each of these levels is an exact construction with some prompt telling the user what to do. Let's look at how the game works through a playthrough. First, we can go through the instructions if the user needs the instructions. When we go back, we can register, let's say with a demo account, and the password could be Java. Now we will see a screen with all the levels. Only one level is unlocked, so we can click on it and go. This level says to form the perpendicular bisector of a segment, shown up here. We can draw shapes and undo them if we want, but the goal is to try to form the exact construction for the perpendicular bisector, in this case, which is done as follows. Now that we've completed level 1, let's see something else. What happens when we close the app? For most games, the user would have to start all over again, from scratch. However, this is not the case with this game, because this stores the user's progress using file IO. Now, when we log back into our account with the demo, we can see that level 1 has already been beaten, and level 2 is now unlocked. Let's finish the rest of the game. Okay, now we've completed all the levels. When we go back, we'll see a congratulations screen with a warm message that tells the user that they've beaten all the levels. In addition, there's a slider to show the user just how good they are at the geometry constructions by showing them the extent to which they have completed the game. Now when we log out, we can see that the user's name, Devil, will be displayed at the very top of the recent winners list. Now, let's move on to the code aspect of the game. The code of this game is very complex, but by analyzing it step by step, we can find out what it's really doing. First, let's go through the components in this game. I used a JText area, JPassword field, JSlider, JRadio button, JButton, and finally, the one I'm going to explain, JText field. First, this JText field is in the register panel class, and the purpose of the JText field is to try to see whether the username entered in the JText field already exists or not. First, I initialize it with a maximum of 20 characters. Then I add it to the panel, and finally, I add the action listener. The reason I chose the same class as the action listener is because it made sense, and also because there were many different actions, such as entering on the text field, entering on the password field, or clicking the enter button, that all led to the same action, performed by this else block. In this else block, we can also see another if statement that checks if either the user text is equal to blank, or the user text is equal to an already existing user. In either of those cases, I'll tell the user that they need to enter a different username. Otherwise, they're good to go, and I can print it to the file. Another structure that I used in my game is control structures, like this nested for loop shown here. I try to find all the intersections between shapes in this for loop. The big for loop loops through the entire list, and inside the for loop, we can see an if and else if block. These check line circle specific stuff. However, when we look below, we see more for loops. Inside this for loop over here, we loop through the regular list to try to find any intersections. And inside this one over here, we loop through the starter list to try to find any intersections. Finally, I have to thank everybody for making my game better through feedback. All the people who helped me are shown below. However, there are 2 main pieces of feedback that I want to illustrate. The first one of them is from Yashvi, my Evaluation A evaluator. She told me to make my background color better. I decided that if I'm going to make my background better anyway, I should probably use a gradient as my background. Once I did that and showed it to other people, I got only positive reviews. Everyone told me that they really liked my gradient, and that it made the game a lot more professional. This also helped in designing my game because I knew I had to use gradients for other aspects of the game. In addition, another piece of advice that I really valued was from Parsa, who sits across from me in my table group. He told me to make my points bigger. When I did so, I realized it would actually make the gameplay more intuitive and structured my game around trying to make gameplay intuitive. When I asked other people, they not only commended the intuition, they also said that the user experience was better and easier to play. Thank you so much to everybody who helped my game, and thank you for watching this video about my game eOmetry.